Good afternoon, Boat Club. It is Wednesday, October the 18th. Yesterday was the October board meeting, or last night, I should say. What I wanted to do, since there was a lot of really important information and a lot of cool things talked about last night, I thought I would give you guys, because not too many people showed up for that thing, and so I'm going to give you compress an almost 2-hour meeting into hopefully a 6 or 7 minute summary, go through some of the slides that we talked about, and try to get you all of the highlights from that meeting. There was a lot of stuff covered, so I may not get to all of that, but we are going to try. So we're going to spin through the slide deck real quickly, and I'm going to do the best I can in articulating that. Hopefully this looks okay and you can see this. So we started the meeting with guest speakers. So there is a young organization called Blue Dot Education. It is a group founded mostly by educators, San Diego educators, and they've created an organization that does a whole lot of hands-on, engaging learning programs. And the reason they're presenting is because, well, not only are a couple of them members, but they also have objectives and directives that are really closely related to our charter principles. So there are a lot of connective tissues, I think, between the two organizations. So we had them come in to introduce themselves to the flag and further to the board, so we know who they are, because I think in the future there will be a lot more educational programs done on the property of the boat club, and I think this will be mutually beneficial. They are a 501c3, and so there are a lot of interesting components of that. So that's how we started the meeting yesterday, through Blue Dot. Then we shifted around a little bit, and we did chairperson reports first to try to, because we do new member read-ins, and usually we do them first and then they depart before we even get to any of the business. But we swapped that around a little bit to do some of the report out, so the new members kind of hear about some of the programs that we're working on. So we heard from Akuna Koa and Blind Ski. Ron George wasn't there last night. But Concrete Canoe Club from San Diego State was there, did a nice little report out. Casino night, it turns out, was very successful. This may be one of the most successful, for sure, casino night events ever. And so that report was quite exciting. We talked about the Halloween party that's coming up. I want to say it's the 28th. It's a Saturday of the Halloween weekend. I think Halloween comes in on Monday or Tuesday or something again. So we're looking for volunteers. We did get some volunteers, but if you're interested, the more hands, the better. It's mostly for decorating and so on. We had some manager reports, so on and so forth. Here's your list of your new members that were read in last night. Missing from there was Wendy. Oh, dang it, come back here. I don't remember. Wendy DeWitt, I want to say, was her name. She's a lawyer, and she's been familiar with the boat club for almost generations, right? Back in the 80s. That's probably not, generations, I guess. Anyway, so we continue to not just secure new members, but the right kind of members, right? So all this is exciting. So then the financial reports were as such. The treasurer reported that the September numbers were outstanding. And I'm going to come back to this, but what you see in this chart is September this year versus September last year. The two numbers that are most interesting generally for me, this number right here, the top end, is almost triple digits. So didn't break 100 grand, but we're still hanging right in there. By the way, this is 11% greater than the same time last year. And the cool thing is the bottom line number. So we carried a profitability of about 16% from the month of September. And that's essentially double what we were doing this time last year. And then the year-to-date numbers that are reported out. So this is through September. So there's no fourth quarter in here. So through 3 quarters, we're at $843,000 on the top end, and the profitability out of that, even after we made our investments, still it's okay. But this is again, the changes that we made in the beginning of on September 1 were intended to affect that, and so that 33,000 on the bottom, half of that came from the month of September. I'll show you some of that. We have 359 families. 15 were new in the last 30 days. These 4 memberships were read out in good standing last month. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I reported out on a couple of things. So bingo night went swimmingly well, I think. I do want that to grow more. We had 26 essential buy-ins, I guess, if you will. I think we broke even. Actually, we didn't break even. I had to put my winnings back in the pot in order to break even on that. But it was fun, and we learned on that thing. We cut our teeth. We're getting our license application in through the San Diego PD to make sure everything is squared away. And then there's the side games that we can play also with bingo. There's a local distributor here in San Diego, and I'm working with them and learning a lot of how we can make bingo night fun. This is open for the public, so tell your friends and friends of friends. They're welcome. That's the first Thursday of the month, I think. Profitability, the changes that we made worked. So we added $1 to most of the drinks at the bar. That $1 plus the non-member fees that they were already paying at 20%, call it a surcharge. They pay 20% more than we do on our special pricing. That went to 25%. Essentially, those 2 changes solved the issues that we were seeing and are going to get us to where we want to be, and I'm going to show you that. In addition to, so we didn't just raise prices. We went after our cost, our repeating cost, and efficiency. Merchant services, that's the credit card processors. I may have mentioned this before. They've been reaming us. They climbed up to about 5.4%. We went back after them. They made changes. They helped us out. But it turns out at the end of September, we got the real end result, and it only dropped to 5.1%. So we need that to be in the 3% area. So basically, we're firing Fiserv, and we're trying to find the next merchant service provider that is going to give us that 3%. We really want to keep our existing hardware so we don't have disruption. But it turns out in that savings, the return on the investment of them swapping out, even if it's identical hardware, to put brand new identical hardware, because what happens is now the hardware appears to be hardwired into the merchant service provider. So these are, they're gotchas, right? So that's fluid. If we do have to change hardware, we're also going to make sure we really investigate the Toast system, because I think that it has a potential to improve even further our efficiency, our turn time, fewer keys on the pad. But our challenge at the Boat Club, and I know prior Commodores know this, we have the membership component for assessments makes it a non-standard requirement for the point of sale system. So anyway, we're working on that, but that's a potential $1,000 a month. We also went after our laundry provider because we're paying too much and they're over delivering. We don't need, I think we have a year's supply of aprons, and we cut our bar rag consumption almost in half. And so we shaved off another $400 or $500 on our laundry service. I talked about the night before there was a PB Town Council meet and greet at the firehouse in PB the night before, where Congressperson LaCava and the San Diego County Supervisor were there, and that was a really great event. And one of the things that's interesting about this, their next one will be held in Chandler Hall, and the point is that there are people that are attending these events that are maybe their keynote speakers or whatever, people that will and can contribute, or they have a vote in our potential future. So the county supervisor, they're the ones who approve money, and then the council members are the ones who create the votes, making the decisions on where how that money is spent and where it goes. So, anyways, it's a little long of a rant. Association meeting is tomorrow night, and also tomorrow night there's a fireman's fundraiser down at Mavericks, and we were looking for people to attend on behalf of the boat club. If you're interested in either one of these events, let me know. The fireman's fundraiser, that of course, that's for everyone. We do want the boat club to show up in support of those things. I am also chatting with the fire department about having their Christmas party in Chandler Hall. So early stages of that discussion. Okay, numbers. If you're interested in numbers, the numbers continue to be strong. In this particular graph, what you're looking at are by month total income. That's all in. That's operations and front end of the house, back into the house. And what you'll see there is month to month continue to be over last year. Last year is shown in the green color. So that's a fair comparison there. So you can see we're in September last year, we were 85 and some change, and we're pretty close to 99 this year. Okay. If you look at the bar, and this requires a little further, you can see this is our trend as summer heats up. Sales in the bar, of course, increase, and then they tend to drop down. We had a really strong month in September, and yeah, we had some good events, and the galley was doing okay. The bar certainly was doing okay. We had a lot of activity, but the difference, the primary difference there, or a strong component of that difference, is the $1 increase. So that $1, just to show you sort of the results, it was, it wasn't an easy decision or not a well thought out decision, and the results are noteworthy. Okay, so that's the bar. Let's look at the galley numbers. Galley also, of course, it's down and will continue to gradually fall back. You may have seen improvements already in the galley. There's more coming. And what we see is that Sundays have dropped off. We were kind of counting on football to really be a boost. That hasn't necessarily happened. Maybe we could blame the Chargers for that. I'm not sure. Regardless, you're likely going to see some promotions trying to bring folks back for brunch on Sunday. We talked about a few things last night. One was even opening the galley briefly on Saturday. Now, profitability. So this graph is accurate year to date. And so what this is the bottom line. So you can see it's an accumulative graph. It means by the end of the year, if we're going to have a top line of $1 million, we'd like to keep 10% of that. At least that was the objective outlined at the beginning of the year for the budget. And so what that would mean is that we'd like to sock away and have cash flow of $100,000 by December. So this early part of the year, so January, February, March, you can see here there was a big expense here. I think this was taxes and I don't know, maybe one of our construction projects. So we're just not coming back out of the hole quickly. And this is where we started to do a deep dive, looked at profitability and things of that nature. And just in this month of September, you can see that 15, almost $16,000 took us from down here up to this 33,000, almost $34,000 position. The rest of this graph is forecast. So October is an assessment month, and we know that assessments are going to take $7,000 and take it right to the bottom line. So it's bonus month, right, for profitability. So if you follow that out, and if we're able to match from a profitability standpoint every month for the last quarter, then we're going to get up here closer to where we need to be. So long story short, the extra buck, it made a difference, right? It's what we needed, so it turns out math doesn't really lie. So we did really detailed. We calculated exactly what we thought was going to happen, and it certainly looks like that did end up being the result of that. That's the majority of slides that we covered. There was also we also did. Let's talk a little bit about the nominations for the elections, and then I'll tell you about the other items that were cool ideas that were thrown out. I think I can summarize that. For the nominations, what it looks like is that the crew is going to stick together. So almost essentially a one-for-one carryover for nominations from Commodore all the way down, with one exception for the officers. I think the same officers are running again. I think there was a little bit of arrangement working. It's kind of like I think it was a SpongeBob episode where Patrick Star says, "I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you?" And then at some point somebody said, "Yeah, I guess we can go one more year." And so with the exception of Corey's because of his schedule, did not accept a new nomination. So Todd essentially then was nominated to replace Corey. But for the most part, it means that the gang looks like they're staying together. There's another set of nominations coming. You should have been notified for that. So if you're interested, there's supplementally, we're looking to fill 3 additional board positions because people are dropping out. So there's a handful of names there. And anyway, if you're interested in anything, any board position, you're welcome to throw your name in the hat on the next meeting. It's early, the first Tuesday in November. It's a special meeting. I hope I got that right. And it's for the second round of board nominations, and then we vote later on in November. But what I think is that one more go, and I really do think we'll have the things that concern me the most on autopilot. I think we're going to have a stable financial scenario. I think the work that we've done with the city will continue to mature on both fronts, both the South Shores and the De Anza Natural. We also are looking to maintain our leasehold specialist and put him on a retainer for next year. We're going to put him in the budget. And so the cool thing is, based on our experience that we've acquired until now, if we don't lose, if we're not losing that, there's a term for it, whatever, that skill set that we've acquired until now, then we're going to benefit from that. And so I can't imagine that my face is going to be around after this next one. So we're going to work hard not only to just refine our objectives, that we've really done a good job, I think, bragging about our team, but I think we've done a good job. Not only are we going to refine and solidify that and strengthen that even more, but now we can really focus on who's our next team. Because once we hone these jobs and we start to outsource more of the burdensome jobs, the financial secretary workload and things of that nature, we get a third-party vendor to do that, and maybe even have a general manager who does more of the heavy lifting, where the 2025 board of directors really is just a governance. At least that's the hope. So there's a lot of words about we're going to do it just a little while longer. We're volunteering to do it a little while longer. Of course, you guys, it's up to you. So it's a voting thing. So if you guys will have us, we're coming back for one more time. Okay? And then let me just wrap up with just a couple of other notes about other things that we talked about. We talked about next year and building a war chest, because this prepare to move topic, things of that nature. So we're thinking about the war chest, and there's a million different ways to skin that cat. And so you're going to hear a lot about that. Mostly, as far as I'm concerned, there will be no more changes from financially in cost or fees or anything until the end of this year. Come January, we may start to see some things, but mostly for the war chest, because even from the front end of the house and the back end of the house, I think we're solid through 2024. That's my perception today, assuming our rent doesn't change much. We also see grant money. There are some opportunities in grant money, believe it or not, even associated with the relocation of the club to South Shores. And I'm not suggesting that this thing is going to happen anytime in the near future, but if this thing really is going to happen in the next 3 years, there is a 75% with a 25% match grant that's available that would really allow us to do some cool stuff in a new location. So I think we should all be excited about that. Yeah, I think that's it. So I saved you an hour and a half. Well, not a full hour and a half, however long it took me to explain that, to give you that info if you stuck around this long for that. So that's my update briefing for now. I haven't really looked at the calendar to see what's happening to report out. So this is mostly your briefing, catching you up to speed on what you missed at last night's board meeting. That's what I got. Appreciate you guys. Hope you're having a good week, and we'll talk to you later.